Hey everybody, Jeremy here from Nobot Studios. Welcome to another GRIT Galaxies RPG project update. This is number 6 in the series, which means I've been at it for 6 months. And if I really look at it, I've been at it longer than that. I officially started working on GRIT Galaxies just after I released GRIT Fantasy RPG back in July of 2024. And the seeds of this idea for this book were actually planted much earlier than that, back in 2020, when I was running ICRPG Warp Shell and hacking together my own types and aliens and equipment and all that stuff. So the notes that I was writing back then have kind of funneled into this project years later. So it has been kind of a long time. But anyway, this last month has been a busy one. I've got a new job I started, which has been taking up a lot of time and energy. By the end of the day, I don't have a lot left to work on this stuff. My hands are a little tired, so I try to do some sketching and ink work every day a little bit. And I have found it actually easier to work on rules type stuff than drawing during the week. So it's been a mix of that stuff. I've been doing some tweaks in the rules, and that is because I've been working on the mock-ups of the illustrations. So I have entered a new stage in this project. The book is completely written. Like I said, I'm only doing small tweaks here and there, and I'll kind of go over the details soon here on that. But the fun part is I'm in the illustrations now. So I have decided to do a full mock-up of the book before I start the final illustrations. And I've got some little sketch work that I'm just going to roll through on a slideshow as I talk here. So you can kind of see some stuff that I'm working on. I have probably, I don't know how many times more. This is just a small sample. I've got pages and pages and pages of stuff right now. But anyway, so I learned a lot from GRIT Fantasy RPG and what the approach that I want to take with this book. And I have decided, obviously, like I just said, I'm going to do a full mock-up of the book before I start the final illustration work. And that is going to help me tremendously. It's going to be a lot of work ahead of time to kind of get things set up and ready. But once I do that, I can really just crank on the final illustrations. This is going to immensely help with the organization of what I need to do. It is going to give me an idea of size, color, and placement of everything. So I'm actually tweaking the layout as I go with the mock-ups, and that way I don't have to worry about that when I get to the final illustration work. So also it's going to keep the consistency of the color palette the way it should be. And, just consistency for line work and putting the right illustrations in the right places that kind of match the area that they're in. What I have found too with the rules changes that I've had to make or tweaks, it really has happened a lot in the monsters section. Because sometimes the illustration and what I have already written don't really match very well. And so I just want to make everything kind of work together perfectly. So I've had to adjust one or two pretty majorly, but the rest just small tweaks on abilities and stuff like that. And I have probably a handful left to sketch and ink and get into the mock-up rules. So there's that. I also did a layout change for the vehicles, and I took out 2 pages. So that's a full spread. And I condensed it so that I have 7 less illustrations to do, which is, it's a good thing for me. There's still going to be like 3 illustrations in that section, plus 1 or 2 for mech suits. So there's still going to be illustrations, just not one for every single basic vehicle type, that's how I had it set up. And, this kind of works with my idea that I don't want to make vehicles the biggest thing in the book. So it's going to kind of like downplay that a little, which is good, I think. So there's that. And as I'm, working through this, the layout and mock-ups of the illustrations, I'm also reading the book as well. And I'm hitting areas that maybe I haven't read in a while. And it's just kind of helping me maybe do some minor tweaks here and there, and making things more easy to understand. Or, if there's a few phrases I don't like or whatever, I've been changing that stuff. So just small stuff, really. So the illustration work has been going good. I've been basically taking my sketchbooks, I've been photographing them and then digitizing them, and I've got basically just like one photo file that I've been filling it, just putting all these raw ink drawings into, and doing like just a cover over with a color. So it's just very fast, just to get the rough idea of what the color should be. I'm not getting perfect stuff. That'll happen in the final illustrations work. The biggest thing that I've seen are when I get like a layout of multiple illustrations. I'm seeing that with the lineages, to have the color palette correct with like all the images that you see when you open the book. That's important, because one lineage may look great by itself in a certain color palette, but when I put it with others, it may not work, or maybe it's too much of the same color. So it's really been helping me with that, and it's going to be great when I get into the final work on that too, because I already have it kind of figured out. So trying to think if there's anything else really. Today I worked heavily on equipment. So yeah, you see this laser blaster here. I've got like several pages of sketchbook just dedicated to that. That's kind of how I work. I work in series very well. So what I'll do is I'll hit one theme and just like repeat in all different ways, and then pick like a few of the ones that I like the most. That's just kind of how I work. So pretty much every illustration in the book is like that. So just know that I've done probably 10 times more than what you see. That's just how I do it. I like to get the right composition and stuff too. So, and when I put them in the mock-up, I'm making adjustments as well. I like do a mesh warp, it's called. And what happens when you do sketching in your sketchbook, what I found is you naturally warp the image because it's flat on the table, and you have your hand, doing the work. You're not looking at it like forward on the screen. So once I get in the computer, I can see just how off they are, and they're all off. So I just make some corrections to make them a little better. And I think with this book, I'm going with the more sketchy feel on this. So they're going to be less accurate, just really more loose. That's what I'm going for. I'm not going to spend a lot of time having perfect lines for everything. I did that a lot with the Grit Fantasy. Sorry, I got to drink something here. Yeah, so I'm going to have a sketchier feel. It's going to be more cartoony, like I've said before. Color palettes, or the colors are going to be more blocky, solid, very slight shadows and highlights. But yeah, so it should be fairly quick to work through those. So really the hard part is the mock-up. So that's kind of what I've been working on. I have probably 64 mock-ups done in the book at this point. I haven't done the count fully yet for this week, but my maximum, or what I need, is I think 108 or 109. That may go down a few because I have some spaces that are just real small sections that I kind of blocked off to have an image possibly, but I may just let the book breathe a little bit and take out some of those things. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But that is where I'm at really with this. It's just from here on out. Once I get the rules, once I get the mock-ups in, I'm really close to like being done with like the rules tweak stuff. Like I think once the monsters are done with the mock-ups, I'll be able to get that version of the rules to Ryan for editing, and that'll just like take on its own thing as I do the artwork on this stuff. So for the next month, I kind of expect to be just working on sketching and ink work, and maybe getting into some final illustration stuff. We'll see how fast the mock-ups go for me, but I only have maybe 50 left. Some of them are more composite like images. So I've got the loot and the unique items where there's going to be multiple objects in one image. So that's going to take a little bit more time. And I also have to figure out the cover. So that is something in the back of my mind. I need to work on the cover. I don't know yet, what I'm going to do. I'm not sure if I'm going to do like a composite image of characters, or if I'm going to do another monster, or if I'm going to do something different. I want to make something that stands out though. I don't want to do the typical thing. I mean, well, Grit Fantasy wasn't really that typical, but I want to do something that really just like pops, but I just don't know what that is yet. So I know what the graphic stuff will be, like the font and all that, but what the image will be is uncertain at this point. So maybe next month I'll be able to fill you in on that and maybe have something to show you. But, for now, I have no idea. So, and so the next kind of step here in this video, I'm just going to show off another couple lineages, and this is the last two. So you're going to turn this off, and here is the Zedian. This is number 11 in the book. These guys are, I've had NPCs of these. I've had players playing them. They are four-eyed, cone-headed, expressive, and nerdy. Their ability is quadruple-brained, which means that they get a focus die pool of 4d6. So they don't have the standard d4, d6, d8. They have 46. That's it. Funny thing about these guys is that they have 4 brains and they have 4 eyes, and each eye is connected to one brain. They can move the eyes independently, so they can be confusing to talk to. They prefer to wear skin-type jumpsuits that cover their pear-shaped bodies. They have skinny limbs. They are typically lighthearted, hobby-driven, and resourceful. So they're also very purple. And the last but not least is the Zlorg. So these guys are weird, squishy, cyclopean, and tentacled. So I really want to get one of these in like a full shot of a full illustration of in the book somewhere. But they have, their ability is tenacious tentacles. You may traverse and cling to any horizontal or vertical surface, even ceilings. So, so I picture them also on their home world kind of just sleeping upside down because it's safer. There's there's creatures and stuff about, so they're up on the ceiling, sleeping head down. It's just kind of what I picture them doing. So they are known for pursuing their interest in obsessive intensity. They have a whole mass of tentacles instead of arms and legs, and they have like a nipple-like antenna on top of their heads. So anyway, that's the Zlorg. So, and that concludes the lineages. Maybe I will move on to the scum lineages next. We shall see. Those are all the bad guys. I'm excited about those. They are going to be, there's going to be 12, obviously, and they are, they're going to be always present in the universe of galaxies, and kind of a weird thing to say, universe of galaxies, but the GRIT Galaxies universe, they're going to have these bad guys that are spread throughout, and they're just ever present and great for the GM to drop in for just bad guys at any time. So, and there'll be the option of playing scum games where you're the bad guys. So a lot of cool details in this book that I'm proud of. So anywho, that's all I really have to say for this project update. Thank you for listening in and following along with this project. I am excited to be in the new stage, and I look forward to my next video where I can show off some more stuff. So anyway, take care, happy gaming, and keep rolling those dice.